This video is about large penises. Many men dream of having a bigger penis. They associate it with admiration, confidence, and effortless attraction. Some even go as far as surgery to make it happen. But what if I told you, deep down, you don't actually want that? There are 5 serious medical and practical reasons rooted in everyday life that send one clear and loud message. And if you listen carefully, I think you can hear it. It says, don't wish for a large penis. I'm Dr. Stefan Buntrock, board-certified urologist and specialist in sexual health, and I know what I'm talking about because throughout my career, I have seen over 30,000 penises. At the end of this video, you will want to reconsider your wish, I'm sure, if you are ready to listen. Or you will share the fate of one of my patients who quit unemployment to get paid work for being able to afford penile enlargement. If you want to know the rest of the story, stay tuned. But let's start with 2 very important medical problems of large penises. Number 1 is fracture risk. Did you know the penis can actually break? Wait a minute. How can it break when there is no bone inside? And if there's no bone inside, why is it called a boner? Here's an interesting analogy. The penis is like a martial arts fighter. You probably know the famous Bruce Lee quote, "Be like water." And in martial arts, a phrase often used is flow like water, strike like thunder. So when the penis is flaccid, it flows like water. You can't really damage it under normal circumstances. Okay, if you try to lift weights with it, like some of these crazy Shaolin monks, then you might. However, erections change it from indestructible to destructible. The secret lies within the penile anatomy. Let's have a look. Inside the penis, there is something called a fibroskeleton, a firm kind of sac with pillars inside the cavernous bodies. When the pressure inside the penis rises, this sac becomes stiff. The pillars support stability, so within seconds, the penis changes a lot of its mechanical properties. Now it is not indestructible anymore. Now you have to be careful. Forceful bending, especially during intercourse, might lead to a blowout rupture of that sac. The name of the structure is tunica albuginea, by the way. This is what we call a penile rupture. Strictly speaking, the penis doesn't break into 2 parts. Rather, the tunica albuginea gets damaged, and along with it, there is often substantial bleeding from the cavernous bodies. In very severe cases, also the urethra can be torn. So, what does this have to do with large penises? Are they more prone to penile fracture? Yes, they are. It's a mechanical thing. An increased leverage effect creates a greater bending moment. This increased torque makes the large penis more vulnerable to sudden pressure or improper penetration. Of course, risk varies according to position. A 2017 article in the International Journal of Impotence Research reported doggy style to be the most dangerous position for penile fractures. Should this ever happen to you, here's what you do. You rush to the hospital immediately. If left untreated, your penis can be ruined forever. Penile fracture is one of the few urological emergencies. So let's move on to medical reason number 2. It's a practical consideration with huge negative consequences. But wait, I forgot something. If you think other men should watch UroChannel because I upload valuable information that helps in life, please take a moment to subscribe and give this video a like. It will signal the algorithm to show it to more viewers. If you find this information valuable, help others discover it too. A simple like and subscribe signals the algorithm and spreads the word. Plus, it makes me happy. And you do want me to be happy, don't you? Back to medical reason number 2. It's the size of medical instruments. That's something you'd never think about until you are in the OR. Medical instruments are designed for average-sized penises. If yours is too long, surgeons might struggle to reach your prostate. And trust me, You want that procedure to go smoothly. I've been there, done that. It's a surgical nightmare. Sorry, no details. But let's pause for a second and use some common sense. The possibility of surgical procedures is a real problem. The chances you will have to undergo a transurethral procedure when you are coming of age are very high. Most men will develop an enlarged prostate with age, making surgery highly likely. Having a large penis is a big disadvantage. Surgery becomes very difficult, and whenever it is difficult, outcomes may be worse. And it can be very disadvantageous in everyday life as well. Before I come to the toilet story, here's what happened to my patient who went for penile enlargement. I had told him that he had a normally sized penis and that penile enlargement would carry the risk for erectile dysfunction. But he was deaf for my wise words, told me that he didn't care. All he wanted was a larger penis. Fun fact, he was unemployed because of his perceived micropenis, which in reality was a normally sized penis. He was mentally unable to work, but because he wanted the procedure so bad, he suddenly started to work again until he had the money for surgery. Then he quit his job, drove to Czechia and underwent surgery. End of the story, his penile size didn't really improve and he developed permanent erectile dysfunction. Now he is suing his surgeon and he is unemployed because of a perceived micropenis plus erectile dysfunction. Why did I tell you this story? What can you personally learn from it? Here's one pearl of wisdom. Obsession makes us blind. My patient ignored every warning, paid the price, and now regrets everything. Don't make the same mistake. So here's the lesson to be learned in one sentence. Listen to me. Don't take lightly what I just told you. These medical reasons are for real. If you have a large penis, well, you can't change that either. But all of you have to understand that there are advantages and disadvantages with every penis size. And speaking of disadvantages, I have counseled couples with a very special problem. But here's the toilet story first, which would be reason number 3 why you wouldn't want a large penis. Here, there are cultural differences in toilet construction to be taken into consideration. I think America has the worst toilet design. Why is there so much water? If you live in America, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Personally, I really hate your splish-splash rest areas. There is so much water that large penises easily dive into it. Europe? Large penises get into contact with the toilet bowl, and you don't really want that either, especially not in public places. So it's much more practical with a smaller penis. Likewise, more practical and also evolutionary superior is reason number 4. It has to do with a female counterpart. Did you know I have a whole playlist about vaginal dimensions? Because in most cases, the penis will meet a vagina someday. Sometimes there's a mismatch, and when it happens, it can be a real problem. I have counseled couples where sexual intercourse was torture for the woman because of the large penis of the man. This problem has been known forever. We have documentation even from the Vikings. Some of you may remember that I have a PhD in Scandinavian studies with a thesis on Old Norse saga literature. Almost 1,000 years ago, the sagas reported a case of a penis that was too large for penetration. Curious? I did a video about it, and I also did a sequel about the smallest penis on record in the saga literature. I will link them in the end. Let's quickly sum up what I have presented so far. I presented you with important mechanical reasons making life with a large penis less enjoyable. However, don't get me wrong here. One of you once called me the friend of small penises. That's not what I'm saying. My intention is to broaden your horizon, provide you with details you may not have thought about. One of my patients built a whole economic empire upon his large penis. So there are advantages with size too. Finally, let's talk about reason number 5. Your environment. You can't hide it. Buying underwear can be really challenging. Sooner or later, the people around you will react to it. The guys will always start a talk about it and will get onto your nerves big time. They will try to take pictures of you in the shower at the gym and post them on social media. The girls will reduce you to your penis, and you will never know whether they are interested in you as a person or just want to have sex with a large penis. Your colleagues and your bosses will think you have an erection when you don't. It might even be classified as inappropriate behavior. It may even get you into trouble. I'm not kidding. At both ends of the spectrum, life can be hard, but thanks to nature, most men are somewhere in the middle, and that's exactly where you want to be. If you are now asking, what is average? I can tell you that 6 inches are not average. It's less. Disappointed? In this video, I explain the penile world in more detail. Evidence-based, of course. And here are the 2 Viking videos I promised you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.